Dallas Cowboys are 6-3. They lost an ugly loss to Green Bay in overtime last week. And if you look at Minnesota, they won a game against the Buffalo Bills, which also went to overtime, which was a wild, crazy game at the end of the game and in overtime. But Minnesota is one of those teams this year that they just find a way to win one-score games that they couldn't win last year. They lost all those one-score games last year. And you look at their quarterback position, which right now, if you looked at Captain Kirk, he's doing a heck of a job. Kirk Cousins, 64%. 14 TDs and 8 interceptions. But the key to this offense, we all know, is Justin Jefferson, the wide receiver. Spectacular one-handed grabs against the Bills. For some reason, you can just throw it up. This young wide receiver is going to come down with the football. Dallas is traveling to Minnesota. They are a 1-point favorite, which I'm scratching my head. This could come down to coaching, Coach.
Well, I always hate to hear that when I'm a former football coach. But the Cowboys blew a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, Mark. First time in the history of the team did they blow a 2-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter. It was a game that they lost, which they never should have lost. Prescott is really outstanding. And let's give Pollard an awful lot of credit. He's averaging 6 yards a carry at 16 TDs, has rushed for 621 yards. Now, he is much more predictive than Ezekiel Elliott. However, the difference is Ezekiel Elliott can pick up blitzing linebackers, whereas Pollard has an awful lot of difficulty doing that. And, C.D. Lamb is having a tremendous year. I look at the Vikings. They've won 7 in a row, all by 1 score or less, Mark. Cousins, 64% of his pass. I love Cook the way he's running. But you mentioned Jefferson. He's having an outstanding year. But how about Thielen, the other receiver, who really gives them an awful lot of options to going back there to throw. And so they're on a roll. They're very positive, et cetera. But I think the Cowboys are going to be so upset after losing a game last week. They should have never lost to the Packers. Cowboys prevail in this football game, Mark, 31-24.
I think against the Packers, everybody saw what their kryptonite is, and that's running the football right at them, which the Packers had great success. I think Dalvin Cook's going to have a huge game in this game because they will feed him the rock. They'll spread the ball around offensively. They'll make sure they get him to their wide receivers. But I think Minnesota wins this game. For some reason, they just win those close games this year. I got Minnesota winning this game 27-25.